for this Bhagavad Gita course. We're extremely thankful to everyone for taking out your time. I know that it's very difficult to take out time, but you are all very keen to learn Bhagavad Gita. So I'll try my level best to teach you. So today will be an introductory class, and today basically I'll explain about what the Bhagavad Gita is all about, the glories of Bhagavad Gita, and whether it is relevant to us or not, and then the flow of chapters. And from next session onwards, we'll be covering every chapter. Right? So before getting into the session, so let us pray. If we have this Bhagavad Gita as it is, do you have this book, Bhagavad Gita as it is? I don't know whether you have to see. There's a book, Bhagavad Gita as it is. So if you don't have, please, you can order. There is a website called Buy Gita, buygita.in. So you can buy it from there. So because this will be our reference book, I'll be teaching Bhagavad Gita from this book. So Bhagavad Gita as it is. So if you go to the page number, if you have it, the introduction, the first page, there's a prayer. So we'll be reciting the first prayer. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamayam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubesha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I'll request you everyone, please take notes in every session. Please try to take notes and keep your video on, so that will be nice. So I'll also will be get encouraged that you are attentively listening. So why we should take notes? Because there is a process in hearing. Actually, there are 3 stages in hearing. The first stage is hearing, means you understand that the moment you hear, you understand. So when you understand something, you take notes. And then there is a called mananam. There's a process called mananam. Mananam means contemplating. You contemplate. Then when you contemplate, then you feel like applying it. Once you apply, then it becomes a part of your life, or you get a conviction about that. I'm an audible. I'm clear. Okay. So that's why it's very, very important to take notes. So if you take notes, then whatever you hear, that will become your part of life. So that's my humble request. Please take notes. And what is this Bhagavad Gita is all about? Bhagavad is the word taken from Bhagavan. And Gita means song. It is a song of Lord. Or you can say it's a philosophical song sung with the Lord. So that is Bhagavad Gita. So you know the Bhagavad Gita is a very famous book. This has been read by millions of people before, and now also the many people are reading it, and in future also they will read. Right? So that's why the Bhagavad Gita is read by everyone. Whether it's a philosopher, it's a scientist, it's a politician, it's a student. So the book is relevant for all. And what is this Bhagavad Gita is all about? Bhagavad Gita is nothing but it's a manual. Like every instrument has a manual. If you want to operate any instrument, whether it's a laptop or a mobile or any machines you want to operate. Am I audible? I think I'm audible. Are you clear? Okay.
Prabhuji, you are audible. Let people who are unable to connect, they can reconnect their mobile or system, whatever they are using.
Okay.
You are clearly audible.
Okay, thank you. So if you buy any instrument, there is a manual so to operate, how to operate that machine, there is a manual. Similarly, we have got a very complicated machine. This machine is a very complicated. So generally we don't know how to use this machine and what is the purpose of this machine. So the whole Bhagavad Gita tells about how we can use this machine, from using this human body, what we can do and what we can get. That's what this whole Bhagavad Gita is all about. Right? So how we can use this human form of life in proper way. That's what Bhagavad Gita explains. Why it is important to me? Just like Arjun, he got this Bhagavad Gita knowledge in the battlefield. Right? So you may say that we are not in battlefield. Even we don't know whether we'll go and fight in future. I don't think, especially me, I will not be getting into war kind of. But we have an internal battle. We are so confused. We have so many problems, so many conflicts, so many anxieties, stress. We have so many questions which is unanswered, right? So everything can be solved by Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita can solve all the problems. Bhagavad Gita can nourish you spiritually, and Bhagavad Gita can be a good motivational book also, right? So this is what the Bhagavad Gita can help you. And then the next is, I just want to tell some glories about Bhagavad Gita. If you can go to introduction, the last page of introduction, that is page number 29, and the many slokas talks about glories of Bhagavad Gita, Gita Mahatmya. It's called as Gita Mahatmya. So I read few slokas so that you may develop a little appreciation for reading Bhagavad Gita. So one sloka talks about that if one reads Bhagavad Gita, this is Gita Mahatmya 2. If one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely, with all seriousness, then by grace of the Lord, the reaction of his past misdeed will not act upon him. The Lord says, you understood, no? So if we read Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and seriously, there is a qualification to read Bhagavad Gita. That is the sincerity and then the seriousness. What is meant by sincerity? There is this term is sincera. It came from sincera. Sincere means as you are. There is no duplicity. Sincera means there is no duplicity. Honestly reading Bhagavad Gita with great seriousness. Then what will happen? You get the grace of the Lord. Then what is that grace? You will be freed from all the reactions of the sin. So in the life, we are so miserable, or we are not peaceful because of the sinful reaction. If we really want to be peaceful, we need to have some kind of purification. So when we reach Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we get purified. Our consciousness get purified. So when our consciousness get purified, we experience the peace, internal peace. So that's what here it is said. And then one more, Gita Mahatmya 3, it talks about one may clean himself daily by taking bath in water. Like every day we take bath, right? So to clean our body. But if one takes bath even once in sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirty of material life is altogether vanished. It is said that even once, if you dip yourself in Ganges of Bhagavad Gita, then all the sins, all the dirt in our mind will get purified. You know that, no? The problems in our life is because of the dirt in the mind. When we have a dirt in the mind, if our consciousness is impure and we use that, with that impure consciousness, we see everything. Now, if you wear a yellow color specs, then what do you see? You will see everything yellow. Is it not? So same way, when your consciousness is impure, you see with the impurity. The person may be pure, but because we are impure, we perceive that person also in impure. That's why sometimes when someone goes to take darshan of the Lord, they find fault with the Lord. It's not that there is a fault with the Lord because he's param pavitra, is pure. Because our consciousness is impure, we see the thing which is pure, we see it as an impure. So, but when we dip ourselves in Ganges of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, then we'll get purified by this contamination. And there is one more sloka, that is Gita Mahatmya 5. One would drink the water of Ganges, attain salvation. You all would have gone to Ganges, you have taken bath, right? It's very pure, and that Ganges actually comes from the lotus feet of the Lord. So by taking bath in the Ganges, one get liberated. So what to speak of? One drink the nectar of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the essential nectar of Mahabharata. It is so spoken by Lord Krishna himself, the original Vishnu. So the Bhagavad Gita is a nectar which came out from the Supreme Lord. So there is an absolute platform. There is no difference between the lotus feet and the mouth. These Bhagavad Gitas are the words of Krishna. So by hearing that, we get purified. So these are the few glories, and the one of the last glory I want to read is that the Gita Upanishad, the Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all Upanishad. If you read Bhagavad Gita, then you have read all the Vedas. The essence of all Vedas is Bhagavad Gita. It's just like a cow. That cow is what? Lord Krishna, who is a famous of cowherd boy. He's just like a cow. And milking this cow. Like Krishna is milking his cow, and Arjuna is just like a calf. And that Arjuna is compared to the pure devotees. Just like the essence of cow is milk. Right? You understood? The essence of cow is milk. That is the instruction of the Lord. And then who is drinking that? Arjuna. Then Arjuna is compared to the pure devotees. Pure devotees, they relish hearing Bhagavad Gita. So these are the glories of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So it's a very, very purifying. And if you read Bhagavad Gita, and now what is the qualification to hear Bhagavad Gita? This is very, very, very important, because many people, they've read Bhagavad Gita already. In fact, you would have also read Bhagavad Gita before. But different people perceive different things. They don't, and their understanding is not the same. Right? So I'm going to discuss two qualifications to read Bhagavad Gita, which is already said in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita. One, Prabhupada writes in introduction of Bhagavad Gita, the first qualification to read Bhagavad Gita is that at least theoretically you should accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is very, very important. The first, at least theoretically, you should accept Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the first qualification before understanding Bhagavad Gita. So once Srila Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, he went to a meeting where the Gita was discussed. There he saw that there was no picture of Arjuna or Krishna. There was just a light. Just like if you go to a politician meeting, there will be a Nehru photo or Mahatma Gandhi, whatever. But here the meeting is all about Gita, but there was no picture of Krishna, there was no picture of Arjuna. So Prabhupada asked, where is the picture of Krishna? Right? So sometimes we discuss Bhagavad Gita, but we don't know what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita essence is that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Arjuna is acting like us, the living entity who is very ignorant, and Krishna is enlightening Arjuna. And because Arjuna is ignorant, similarly, we are in the place of Arjuna. When we hear with this understanding, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is enlightening us and we will be enlightened. So this is the first thing. How Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? You may say that, how can I accept that? So Brahma Samhita, it is said, Brahmaji says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha Anadi Radhir Govindam Sarvakarana Karanam. So Ishvara means controller, Parama means supreme controller. The supreme controller is Krishna. And what is his form? Sachit Ananda Vigraha. His form is Sachit Anand. And what is Anadir? He has no beginning. Adir means he is the beginning. And his name is Govinda, and he is the cause of all. Sarva Karana Karanam. So sometimes the question comes, if Krishna has created everything, and who created him? So Krishna is not, he is the Adi, he is not created, because only in where there is a time exists, there is a creation and destruction. He is beyond the time. Beyond the time means there is no change. So that's why he is not been created. He is from the beginning. He is from Adi. That's it there. And then it is said in Bhagavad Gita that we'll be discussing very detailedly in the 4th chapter. Lord Krishna birth and activities, if you see Janma Karma, if you see that Krishna's birth, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, Evam Yuveti Tatvataha, Twakta Deham Punarjanma, Neti Mam Yeti So Arjuna. So if someone can understand that the birth and activities of the Supreme Lord is transcendental, is transcendental, then what will happen? What is the result? If you understand this, then he will attain me. He will come back to my abode, Arjuna. That's what it says. So, and then you can, if you see the pastime, if you see the childhood pastime of Supreme Lord Krishna, that Yashoda Maya, when she saw the mouth of Krishna, she was able to see all the universe which is there inside the mouth. Right? So Lord exhibited such kind of pastime. And if you see, there is like in the Bhagavad Gita, in the front page, if you see, the Lord is instructing Arjun. So once Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India, so one poor Brahmana was crying by seeing this picture, reading Bhagavad Gita, but even though he was not learned, he was illiterate. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, my dear Brahmana, why are you crying? So he was saying that whenever I remember that the Supreme Lord has taken the position of Sarthi, that his chariot driver, I feel of crying, because he's so humble, he's so Bhakta Vatsal, he's taken the very menial position. So how my Lord is so great. So then Mahaprabhu embraced the Brahmana. You really understood the Bhagavad Gita. So the Lord is Bhakta Vatsal. He can act as a servant of his devotee also. So this is the Krishna's greatness. And why Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Because he has 6 Aishwarya. The 6 Aishwaryas are wealth, beauty, strength, knowledge, fame, renunciation. So even in the material world, you can see someone is very beautiful, but we cannot say that he is the most beautiful, right? But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is most beautiful, most wealthy, he has full strength, he's full of knowledge, and is fully renunciant and fully famous, So he has 6 opulence in fullness. So that's why he's called Bhagavan. Bhaga means opulence, like that. So in this way, we can understand that Krishna is supreme. Like we know that there is Lakpati, Arapati, Karapati, but Krishna alone is Lakshmipati. Right? Nobody can be a Lakshmipati. Right? So from this we can understand that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I hope you are with me and you are able to understand. You're not getting bored. So this is it. This is how Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, once the Krishna went from Dwaraka to meet Rishi Muni. See, Rishi Muni never offer obeisance to king. because king, they used to take advice from Rishi. So the moment the Rishi saw Krishna, immediately they offered obeisances, because the Rishis knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. And if you take Acharyas, Adi Sankaracharya, Sri Ramanacharya, Sri Madhvacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone accepted Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. So that's why we should also accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. So that is the first qualification to enter into Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Hope you are clear about this point. So the second thing is that if you go to the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Prabhupada explains what is the qualification to study Bhagavad Gita. The second line of the Prabhupada, there Prabhupada says, there it says that one should read Bhagavad Gita very scrutiniously with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna, and try to understand it without personal motivated interpretation. This is a very, very, very important point. Without personal motivated interpretation. Here, this is the problem. Whenever we try to understand something, right? So especially when it comes to Bhagavad Gita, we have some kind of personal interpretation. Just like one leader, after reading Bhagavad Gita, he said that Bhagavad Gita is all about non-violence. But if you see, in every chapter, Krishna says, "Oh Arjun, stand up and fight. Stand up and fight." Again and again, he will tell you, fight, fight, fight. But what was his conclusion? His conclusion was, Bhagavad Gita is all about non-violence. So one of the readers said, he was refuting this later, that no, how Bhagavad Gita could be non-violence? Bhagavad Gita is all about violence, because it is said about fight. What is my fight? Fight for our motherland. So that was his conclusion, that we should fight for our motherland. But one of the devotees said, if you read the last sloka, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, we have to give up all the dharma and surrender unto me. Acha, it is said like that. I did not come across that sloka. Oh. Let me read it again. So everyone has his own interpretation. So, my dear devotees, so the first and foremost is that we should keep our personal interpretations side by, and then we should accept the way Krishna is trying to say. Then you will understand Bhagavad Gita. See, Bhagavad Gita, you cannot understand very directly. There is no direct meaning here. Because if you take the first sloka, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre, Sanjay is asking, please tell me, sorry, Dhritarashtra is asking, Sanjay, please tell me what's happening in the battlefield. It's just like you went to a restaurant, and then a person is asking, what did you do after going to a restaurant? If you go to a restaurant, what you'll do? You'll eat. If you go to a battlefield, what you'll do? You'll fight. But what is this question is all about? So it is not some geographical thing, but it has some inner meaning in it. That can only be understood only why what Krishna says, no? So just like if we take an example, the chapter 1, sometimes if you read chapter 1, it looks like some sentimental stuff, some kind of emotions, this, that. Sometimes many people think that the first chapter is an useless chapter. We don't get anything from the first chapter. Actually, the first chapter is the most important thing, because the first chapter discusses about how to understand Bhagavad Gita. Because in this first chapter, if you see the two personality, Duryodhana and Arjuna, if you see, both are approaching Guru. Both are approaching Guru and doing the same thing. Duryodhana goes to his Guru and says, just listen to me what I say. See, you see the opponent. These all are your disciples. You trained them, but they're against you. So better fight properly. So a student is advising Guru now. If you take in the case of Arjun, Arjun also saying to Krishna, Krishna, just take the chariot. I want to see who want to fight with me. So he is ordering Guru. And then he gives various reasons not to fight. He says, see, I have got a doctor's certificate. I got a fever. I have this so many reasons. So he is crying. My dear Krishna, I cannot fight. Please. So he says, what I want to do. So both, if you see both the case, Dhritarashtra and Arjuna are doing the same thing to the spiritual master. But there's a slight difference. The Dhritarashtra was offensive. Dhritarashtra was offensive, but Arjuna was not offensive. The moment Krishna smiled, see, he was smiling. See, you are saying that you know everything, but why you are in anxiety? Why you are unhappy? See, this is the very important lesson we should learn. Sometime in our life, we think that I know everything. You don't need to teach me anything, you know. I know everything. See, if you think like that, if you think that you know everything, I have learned everything in my life, then please don't come to this Bhagavad Gita class, because you will not learn anything. The first qualification to learn Bhagavad Gita is this, that I don't know the reality. I have a doubt. I want to get clarified. If you have this slight desire that I don't know the reality, the proof of that is that we are not happy. The proof of that is that we are not happy. If you know the reality, you will be happy. Is it not? So, that's why Krishna was laughing. Oh, Arjuna, you are acting like you know everything. But actually, you are a fool. You don't know anything actually. Nonsense. He says like that. Then he surrenders and he explains. Then he says, okay, fine. Okay, I want to take advice from you, but I cannot fight. I cannot surrender completely. So, but still that's accepted. So the difference between the Duryodhana and Arjuna is that he was offensive, he was not offensive. That's the difference. So the point is that we should give up our interpretation, personal motive aside, and then we should, with an open heart, we should listen. See, there is a big science. If you listen with an open heart, with a great respectful attitude, with a great eagerness, some magic happens. What is that magic? See, anything which we do it with a great eagerness, with a great respectful, then what happens? There is a great samskara that is called the great impression. Just like then when you get a deep impression, then you develop a taste. Just like a person, example, if you take this person smokes, he likes to smoke because there's a deep impression. There's a deep samskara. That's very deep. Similarly, when you hear with an open heart, with a respectful attitude, with eagerness, then what happened? There is a deep impression. When there's a deep impression, I'll tell you one thing, everyone has to die one day. At the time of death, what comes out is that the deep impression which we have. If you are attentive in hearing, and there is an impression is very deep, at the time of death, this will come out. And definitely you'll remember Krishna. Then your life will be successful. But if not, and whatever the deep impression will be, that will come out. You cannot control mind at the time of death. Even now we cannot control what to talk about at the time of death. Is it not? So the point is that, so we should be little humble. And then we should know that I don't know the reality. I'm illusion now. I just want to know what Krishna is trying to teach me as it is. That's why Srila Prabhupada gave the title Bhagavad Gita as it is. What Krishna says, I won't accept as it is. Then there will be transformation. I hope you all came here just to transform, not to get some kind of information, because there is a lot of information is there in the internet. So the goal of this Bhagavad Gita course is to transform our heart. So that the goal has to be very, very clear. Right? So in order to transform the two qualification which I told you, the first thing is that at least theoretically accept Krishna, Shri Krishna as a supreme personality Godhead. And second, without any personal motive, without any interpretation, please, please, please hear. Then you will be able to relish Krishna consciousness. You will be relish this Bhagavad Gita whole course. Actually, if you see Bhagavad Gita, the journey of Bhagavad Gita from the very first chapter, it is our own life. In the first chapter, the Arjuna is very, very confused. He was crying, his body was trembling. You don't know what to do now. The same way in our life also, many situations where we don't know what to do. They're so confused. But gradually he hears from Krishna, and then he puts some question, then he answers. Then it goes on. At the end of the 18th chapter, Arjuna says, "My dear Lord, now all my doubts are clear. Tell me what to do now. I'm ready to follow whatever instruction you say." That's all. So I hope the same journey, same experience you also get. That's my humble desire. I pray that you also have the realization what Arjuna had at the end of 18th chapter. Even though that was Krishna, I'm just trying. I'm a servant, little servant. I'll try my level best to serve. So now I'll just briefly tell you about. We have a few more minutes. I'll briefly tell you about what this 18th chapter is all about. I'll not go detailedly into it, but because we'll be discussing it. See, this 18th chapter, the first 6 chapter is about Karma Yoga. And from 7 to 12, it talks about Bhakti Yoga. From 13 to 18, it talks about Jnana Yoga. In the first 6 chapter, the first chapter is setting the scene. And then the second chapter is a summary of the Gita. From third chapter, it talks about how a person who does Karma Kand and gradually goes to Karma Yoga, and then he gradually goes to Jnana Yoga, then he reaches Bhakti. So, see, the Karma Kand, I'll just, within few minutes, I'll just tell you the yoga ladder, maybe. If it is, you're not able to understand, please note down. As we go chapter wise, you will be able to understand this yoga ladder. So when a person does a karma kand is based according to the scriptures. He does some process, or he actually worship demigods to get some kind of sense gratification. So that, but in that karma kand, there is a medicine. What is that? From in the starting of the mantra, there is a Vishnu mantra, and the end also Vishnu mantra. So because of that, you get purified, and then he does he spends some expenditure also. He gives some hard-earned money. So there is again the purification. And then third is the acceptance authority, that is Veda. So due to these 3 reasons, from Karma Kand, he goes to Karma Yoga, because there is some kind of purification. There is some kind of detachment. So then in Karma Yoga, there are 2 type of things, that is Sakam Karma Yoga and Niskam Karma Yoga. Sakam Karma Yoga means in the both Sakam Karma Yoga and Niskam Karma Yoga is attached to the work, but in Sakam is little detached. He gives little fruits for the transcendental cause, and then in Nishkam Karma Yoga he gives all fruit. He completely gives the fruits. So this is called detached work. Even though he is attached, but he is detached to the fruits. So because of this detachment, there is a purification, and he because of that, he is free from the sinful reaction, and he gets knowledge. That's how he goes from Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga. You understand? I think still now you understood. Maybe if it is little technical, don't worry. We'll go deeper as we read. So I've just how it proceeds. And then from Gyan Yoga, and Gyan Yoga, what happens? He is no envy, no sense gratification mentality. He's completely pure. Because of that, he gradually goes to Dhyan Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. In Ashtanga Yoga, he gets a realization of Paramatma. Then once he gets the realization of Paramatma, he sees the beautiful form of the Lord inside the heart. The moment he sees the beautiful form of the inside the heart, he develops a feeling to serve the Lord. That's how he comes to Bhakti Yoga. So there are two reasons why Krishna explains this Bhagavad Gita, the yoga later. So one thing is that Lord want to give him, tell him all type of yogas so that Arjuna can choose what to practice. That is the first reason he explains different yogas, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, then he tells Bhakti Yoga. So because if he directly says Bhakti Yoga, then Arjuna will get doubt that, oh, Ashtanga Yoga would have been better. But that's what if you go to 6th chapter, he will clearly say this is impractical in the age of Kali. It is very difficult, my Lord. So that's how Krishna established the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga. And then in Bhakti Yoga, all this component of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga is available, is there. So that's why the Bhakti Yoga is kept in between, because the Bhakti Yoga is the most confidential. So it is kept in between the Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. So, and then the 7 to 12 is the most confidential subject matter, that is Bhakti Yoga. And then the last is the practical application of Jnana Yoga. So this is a little bit of overview of how the Bhagavad Gita is. I'll tell you, this whole course will be very, very simple, and you will understand this Bhagavad Gita very simply. And we'll be explaining the sloka to sloka, how the connection is all about, how we can apply this practically. So this is how I'll be explaining. So since it is a very introductory class, I don't want to take much time. So hope you are you understood what I explained. Yeah. Okay. So, and then we'll meet you next Saturday. And I know you maybe have some queries, because right now we have not discussed anything. So that query may not have any value also. So I thought after discussing few chapters, maybe first chapter and second chapter, then I thought of taking a live questions. So what do you think? If you feel that there are few doubts which we discussed today, you can WhatsApp me or you can send me online. Then definitely I'll reply that. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'll just try to, with 1 minute, I'll like to summarize what I try to explain today. First thing, I requested you to take notes, because the note will help you to contemplate on that subject matter. And then once there is a contemplation, then there will be an application. If there is an application, then you will develop confidence about what we discuss. So that's why it's very, very important to take notes. And then the second thing which I discussed is what is meant by Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is the song of a Lord, or it's a philosophical song. And then the third thing which I discussed is who reads Bhagavad Gita. All type of people reads Bhagavad Gita, whether it's a student, whether it's a philosopher, scientist, anywhere. It's Bhagavad Gita is accessible for all. So that's what. And then the fourth thing which I discussed is what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a manual for the human being, so he knows how to use this human form of life properly. So that's the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita. And then the main thing is that using Bhagavad Gita, we will be able to establish our lost relationship with our Supreme Lord. So that's the thing. Once we are able to establish a relationship, then we'll be driving a lot of happiness. So that's the main purpose, is how to establish our lost relationship with the Lord. So, and then the fifth thing is, we discussed about the glories of Bhagavad Gita from the Gita Mahatma. If you want to go more detailedly, you can go to introduction, the last page of introduction. There is more glories of Bhagavad Gita is there, because in order to inspire you, so if you read Bhagavad Gita glories more and more, then you'll be more inspired to read. And then the seventh is qualification to read Bhagavad Gita. There is two things we have discussed. One thing is theoretically, at least theoretically, we should accept Sri Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. And then the second thing is that we should keep aside all our personal interpretation. And then we should listen with an open heart. We should accept what Krishna says, just like Arjuna is hearing as it is, just like Krishna is just directly, whatever Krishna says, Arjuna is accepting with a simple heart, with purified heart. We should also listen with open heart, respectful attitude, with great eagerness. Then what will happen? There will be a deep samskara, and then that will definitely help you to develop taste in spiritual life. And then at the time of death, definitely you will be able to remember Krishna. So that's what I was trying to explain. Okay. So thank you very much for giving your time. And I don't know whether my language is comfortable, were you able to understand? You can give me the feedback also. If there is anything which I can correct myself, you can please free to give feedback. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.